Hi, welcome back. It's Laura here at Hyperstamper. What I did with this beautiful antique book is I made it into a junk journal a little while back, but the cover was very plain. It was just a piece of interior spine from the 1800s, which you can still see under here. But I got a few emails just saying if I ever added more to the cover, you know, they would really like that. So I did. And I really like how it turned out. I've got these vintage buttons down here that I found to match the beautiful sort of slate blue of this cover. And then I've still got the antique interior spine up here with the original staples that are so old. And this beautiful antique lace here. And then some antique crochet, some satin ribbon. And and this vintage cameo. That's sort of the centerpiece. And of course is this very pretty removable bangle here. So I love it, and I'm just going to take you through a little journey of the inside, which is absolutely jam-packed with antique and vintage ephemera and treasures, vintage pieces from the 1800s, like real treasures. So let's get started here. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Now, this is, of course, the beautiful cover in the original first pages, and the book was called Look to the Mountain, which is and I love that slate blue there. It's just so beautiful. And this is a 73-year-old book, 83-year-old book. Pretty cool. This is a stereoscope from the 1890s. It's this woman on her bike here, and I think it's hilarious. And that would have been like the original Viewmaster, which is pretty cool. This is a little piece that I added journaling paper to the back on from 1885, just this cool little pocket here. And then over here, I've got one of these 100-year-old Stella Hygienic collar supports. So that's what they would have put in to make the men and women's collars very stiff. And they're just lovely. I love them so much. They're hard to find and they do have value. I love this little piece here. It's a little cross stitch and it was a coaster. And look at the beautiful work around the edges. It's handmade and it's absolutely adorable. I love it. And then I've got the crochet here and the lace down here. A vintage tree book page, which is absolutely scrumptious. This I love. It is from an antique book. Look at the corsets there. And I turned that into a journaling card that is actually from a vintage piano roll box. Then we've got a vintage Marvin Gardens. And I turned it into a little flip journaling spot there. And then this is very cool, just a 1950s recipe from Better Homes and Gardens. Isn't that nice? Rhubarb sauce. Oh, yummy. That's one of my favorite things is rhubarb. I love rhubarb. Vintage bird page here and a 1930s flinch card. Fabulous. And a hand-typed piece down here, a research from 1886, and it's all in the red ink from typewriter, which is hard to find. And this is an original first page of the book. It's got 1942 inscribed there. This is a 1889 ledger sheet with the hand stamped numbers in the corner. And there's a beautiful plate here. We have a lava stream flowing into a lake in Hawaii. Look, so that's lava down there. Isn't that beautiful? Just absolutely stunning plate. And then this here, it's a little brittle. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that off and tuck that into a pocket. But that's again, because it's 145 years old, it tends to be a little brittle. This is a sweet little page from the 1920s, Grimm's Fairy Tales. And this is a lovely little page from 1904 from the English Countryside series that I have. Another great plate there from the early 1900s. Look at this beautiful Niagara Falls piece. That's beautiful. That's on the American side. This is gorgeous. Miss Gwyn. And that's a great journaling spot there. And Ms. John Davis. Some vintage fabric here. Children's book page here. Look how great that is with the puppies and the rabbits. I love it. Little elf down here. I clipped this from a vintage newspaper from the 40s, nursing. Acorns, my favorite there. A 1947 fashion page. Fashions from the 30s to 42. So when the book was made, it's kind of modern. Not anymore. Another wonderful plate there from England. Another wonderful bunny page. and more of this fashion from the 40s. And this is a Beatrix Potter plate here from 1933. And that one is great for journaling on the back of, or you can frame it because it's so pretty. Little antique map here. And then this is from 1927. Great little poem with journaling card on the back. Fun clusters I tried to put in here. Another hilarious plate here. Journaling on the back, early 1900s. And just a little booklet here of botanicals from my vintage botanical book. So you can find lots of little white spaces on there to journal too. And this is from the early 1900s. Beautiful little Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the classic, right? Isn't that sweet? And she's looking up at the star there, and antique paper on the back of that as well. I just really like that so much. Here is a vintage bird page from, it's about 52 years old, this one, Birds of North America. That is a nice colorful page. I love it. 1950s Pearl Shop receipt, 100-euro banknote there. I love that. Lily Design book number 24. This is a piece of tracing paper, sewing paper from the 50s. And this is also a 1950s crochet book cover page. And then this is very cool. I want to be very gentle with it. It is an antique map of the Upper Congo, or a piece of it. A piece of it. So that's what's left of it there. Isn't that neat? So very, very old, 1800s, and you can do a lot of journaling on there because there's a lot of white space. And I made that pocket out of a 1920s children's book page there. And children's book page here, all different children's books as well, probably about 4 or 5 different ones used in this book here. And this is a great little magazine page. Look at the great little fashions on here. Isn't that sweet? Look at her little gloves. So that's from the 50s. Great side pocket. And that is from the 1920s. And here's one of these wonderful 1950s baby cards that I love so much. And you can journal on the inside of that. Look how sweet that is with the original ribbon in there. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. A vintage ledger sheet. And this is a 1930s Paris, France almanac page. And then this is a player piano page from about 120 years old. And then in this pocket here, which is a map from American Highways Road Map from the 50s, 1955 to be exact. And look at this very special piece. Look at this. So these are all transfers here that you would have transferred onto pillowcases and tea towels and then cross-stitched them. Isn't that beautiful? So if whoever owns this journal can have a lot of fun upcycling this, or even, why not give it a try? Try a little test piece from down here. See if it still has its iron ability. And give it a try. How much fun would that be? Or use it in your crafts. Another fashion page here, a pressed flower page here with the vintage Wildflowers of America on the back. I love this from the 40s. Look at this little ballerina doll. And then this here is from a vintage cookbook. Isn't that neat? Lots of journaling space there. There's that Paris, France almanac page, ledger page, and a vintage music sheet. And that brings us to the final pages of the book. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making this. It's in my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com. And please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.